What the hyperbole you're referring to is. So
Okay, well, we'll get to the hyperbole.
And it's just, I don't know, even that statement's pretty rich coming from a conservative. But either way, I digress. Our opening, right? Fucking, what the fuck was I talking about? Annoying the shit out of people? That's what I'll be doing tonight, it sounds like.
It does sound pretty much like that. It sounds like you were trolling a little bit on the interwebs.
Yeah, I was fucking around. I was actually just laying in bed. This is at like 5 a.m. I don't know if this was today or the day before yesterday. Honestly, it was a blur. But I was just scrolling through Facebook and some jackwagon like made a comment in a group that I'm in. It's a video game group. It's not even like that serious. It's a group for Red Dead Redemption. It's a very good video game.
Dude, from what I've seen, though, that sounds like it could be a rather contentious group.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. But by and large, it's a lot of people just like talking about, because the game's so big and so like complex that like people find different like Easter eggs and tidbits and like things that happen in the game, because like the game has like dynamic weather and like all these things, and like it has wildlife, like you hunt for like so like they're just things that like have happened and people take screenshots and you're like, oh wow, the fuck, this game's incredible.
So real quick, this is a chat, not a page, right?
No, it's a page. It's just a group, like a Facebook group.
Like the Shin Splints Recovery Group. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Flat Earthers, whatever the fuck that was.
Advocates for truth.
Yeah, advocates for truth. That's right. So anyway, this guy makes like some fucking long-winded comment. Basically just calling everybody on the page idiots for not having noticed a minor detail in this game, like I just mentioned, full of detail. And like was throwing a big stink about it, but I think the bigger issue was that like when you open up the comments, right, and people were like, "Relax, buddy," and like he's commenting under every single one of them, and so the guy's got time. So Alan's got time at 5:30 in the morning. So I said something along the lines of "Shut it, nerd!" Like that was literally it.
Nice.
And fucking. He was very upset by that. He was like, if you knew me, you wouldn't say that. And I was like, if I knew you, I'd bully the shit out of you, and this never would have happened. And so we went back and forth for quite some time. I roasted him a little bit on, like, his fucking girlfriend looking exactly like him. Fucking, like, took a screenshot, posted that. Posted some other stuff. And so then he just, like... He's a young kid. I like looking at his profile was pretty locked down, but looking at him looked like kid's probably like 16, 17, just talking some shit. I was like, okay. Yeah. So he didn't have much else to resort to because my profile page on Facebook's fairly locked down. Like I think you can see my profile pictures. Besides that, not a whole lot. So he starts pulling profile pictures and he's just like, you and your wife are fat. And I was like, okay. It's good, bud. We got anything else? I just keep fucking roasting him. At this point, I'm alluding to his intelligence being that of a short bus riding individual. Okay. I'm really hammering this guy. And my man proceeds to spam this page with fucking weight loss groups. But you can't do that in the group. You get
solicitation.
The group admin doesn't even need to do it. The group will remove you itself. And fucking he had like posted one more thing and then I just watched it disappear. And I was like, oh yeah, I got you so good this morning that you fucking got yourself kicked out of a group that had like, and your comment, your initial post had like fucking 5,000 comments on it. Like it blew the fuck up. And that's just gone now.
Yeah,
like all your hard work is just fucking derailed in 20 minutes with dealing with this American guy because he was British. Fucking
there was
poking the fucking bear.
There's a server somewhere in California that had opened up space because now it's gone into the wasteland that we know as the interweb. Bravo, good work.
Thank you.
I really what it boiled down to was who had more free time, and it sounds like at 5 a.m.
had a lot of free time.
You had the longer of the two there.
Dude, so I mean it was like noon for him, so this was his lunch hour.
Yeah, like he had done a part of his day. Like he had gotten the mind going. I was still waking up and just.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not enjoying his shitty English lunch. You know, he had beans or some other crap.
Yeah, beans and
fucking-
toast and some bullshit. Just
Right.
a raw tomato. Fucking, you know what I mean? Fucking weirdos. But no, yeah, I thought it was a lot of good fun. You know, I love that kind of shit, as you guys are well aware. So yeah, and I wish I had the thread for posterity. Because I
Right.
had some good ones. I had some really good ones in there.
I
And
do.
like, I know when
wanna-
you get to the fat jokes, you're done. It's over.
I wanna go-
We've achieved in the end.
I would like to go back to the his girlfriend looking like him. Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Now there's no way of knowing. I mean, was it uncanny? Did he pick like a stunt double of his that just happened to be a female and be like, I like
Yeah.
you. We should date and perhaps mate from time to time.
Yeah, you know, like and like that nice looking guy. He didn't he wasn't like a cave troll or anything. He seemed like a strapping young lad with a chiseled chin. But so did she. She looked like a handsome young lad with a chiseled jaw. And so, yeah. And like it was like the perfect picture. It was like the two of them like this, kind of like facing each other. So it was like the perfect like profile. It's like, oh my God, are you banging yourself? Do you know this? Are you aware of this?
Well, you know, you bring that up, and then of course, you know, England itself, the island is, especially its history, is well known for its incestual relationships. But
Yeah.
one of my favorite things to watch on TikTok is guys from Europe being like, "You guys don't know how big you guys don't know how large the United States of America is.
Yeah,
because
it
look
is
at this,
crazy.
Britain itself, it's only the size of about New Jersey. Now, it would take you 3 days to drive across Texas. Do you understand what I just said to you? 3 days to drive across Texas. And so, there's not a lot to pick from over there if you're not getting out and traveling. We forget how great our melting pot is and how many, like, you know, single young folk of
Yeah.
multinational, like, gene pools there are.
Yeah.
Once a year, I'd fly to the Midwest to see my mom's side of the family. And when I got to be like a teenager into my my late teens, early 20s, females were like, "Oh God, I love your accent." Like, what? What are you talking about? God, it's just so attractive. It's so different. It's nice to hear. And I'm like, oh, well, it's that fucking easy. Christ, I had to move here.
You know,
At least
you
2
know
weeks,
what?
3 weeks ago.
And I had like when I first went to the Midwest, I was like, I fucking hate it here because you guys say my name weird, and I don't want to talk to any of you because they say their A's fucking funny. Like you go to
Alan.
Minnesota or fucking Chicago, it's Alan.
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 And I'm like, no, shut the fuck up. Fucking Alan. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Can you say your A's right, you fucking animal?
Now that I'm thinking about, because my dad, Alan, married
Yeah.
a woman from the Midwest, and I vaguely remember early on he gave up on being annoyed by that. He was like, I had to put up with
you
it.
marry one, but that's your first mistake. You know,
Well,
not in this case, of course. I'm just saying.
understood. No,
Yeah.
no offense taken.
Where did
Yeah.
they get to that last name there, Giannis, with your
I
double
know,
L?
yeah. Oh God, that doesn't even bother there. But at least you can say the fucking Allen right.
It's Giannis with a Y. All right, end of story.
It's just degrading. I noticed that when I first went. I think the first place I went was Minnesota, and I was like, ooh. It's like, this kind of sucks.
Well, they get a lot of their letters wrong, don't you know? You know.
Yeah,
There's a lot of that going on. Well, I almost, I stopped myself because I would have been tweeting under the middle class holes moniker,
You
and
should've
I
definitely done it.
yeah, well, maybe not. So I know, you know, politics. We got like what 12 days till the election,
To the end of the world.
well, look, bottom line is, I know there's a lot of hyperbolic speech that happens around this time. It's October. The surprises are just boom, boom, every 5 hours at this point. And then, Miss Harris used the White House podium to come out and basically say that Donald Trump is literally Hitler. He'll be a dictator on day one. He's a fascist who wants to tear up the Constitution. So I put together this logic problem. I was a little boozed up last night, and I was just like, right before I posted it, I said, nah, let's take a step back. So the Democrats are claiming that there will be a peaceful transfer of power, right? Win or lose, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's their call for a peaceful transfer of power. But they're also calling Trump Hitler and a fascist dictator waiting to tear up the Constitution. So if he wins, do they have a moral responsibility to not have a peaceful transfer of power?
Nah, I mean, transfer it. See what happens.
Just like, okay, but they always say, well, if you go back in time, do you strangle baby Hitler? So if you know Hitler's coming into office, do you not let Hitler into office? And if you do, are you now worse than Hitler?
Nah, I think the problem is, like, I mean, honestly, you gotta break the experiment, right? Like, that's the only way to find out if it works or not. Like, my man flirted with some shit, but guardrails generally fucking held. The general premise of our government was like, all right, we're not gonna let this happen. This is getting weird. This time around, could get even weirder, but I'd say you transfer power and see what the fuck happens. Like,
Yeah, you have to you have to assume that the guard bearers, the House and the Senate will do their job, and perhaps the judiciary branch will do theirs. It's a separation. But yeah, I mean that if it, I don't. This is the first I'm hearing of it. I'm not as glued in as I normally am, just because I don't want to drive myself insane. If those things were said, I think honestly. And I'll take your word for it. I don't believe you're lying. If I heard that, I'd be like, Jesus, like why do you say those things? Why do you got to go there?
Yeah, no, I saw that. I think
All for the sake of winning.
I think I saw what you're talking about with her at the podium, and like I also was like, why there?
Yeah,
like that was like I was like, why that setting? Like I guess I get it, but I also don't. Like I thought it was a lot, but like. I mean, she really just paraphrased the dude. She really not even paraphrased. She kind of quoted the fucking dude from multiple different occasions of saying shit. And yeah, you could be like, it's out of context. I know it's coming. But fucking, my man's words are my man's words. If we just start ignoring that shit, then what are we even arguing about? Like,
I'll tell you what,
we
though.
could just fucking stop talking. We can stop talking about all of this and just let it ride. And,
You know what's funny about
that's
that,
all
though?
we're gonna do.
Like, just because you're putting like them quoting each other into play in my mind, I would love to have him literally read like a transcript of some of her answers.
Like, dude, do it.
I mean,
Yeah. What was that? Who she was? I don't remember the interview. It was the other female, like from 3 days ago, and some of that stuff was like, ooh. Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
good thing you
just
missed the Anderson Cooper deal last night, because that one was. Whew.
Yeah, like I don't like her. Like she doesn't give me. Yeah, she's a politician. She's like the definition of.
I don't even know that she's a politician, because J.D. Vance was on with Theo Vaughn, and I was like, oh, this guy's just an actual, like, fairly normal just dude. Just laughing.
Is he, though? He's fucking weird, man.
I tell you, I listen, up to a point, I was willing to agree with you, but then I watched him on with Vaughn, and here, I guess this is my thing. If you're laughing at the right spots, you start to gain some credibility as a normal, just kind of dude that's in a weird situation. And when Theo Vaughn says, man, it's just getting to the point where you can't even do cocaine in America. And then when you laugh at that because it is funny, or Theo Vaughn talking about a guy having a fish hook in his face, catch and release, man, must come in the southward border. And then you're laughing at that too. And you think that there's just a lot of moments.
Vance said he once, and I don't remember, he didn't say the surgery. He said I had a minor surgery and I was prescribed oxycodone for 24 hours. Then Vaughn interrupted. He's like, and you got tore up. And he's like, ha ha ha. Because you popped a couple of those and off to Neverland. Not the ranch.
I guess that's fair. I just I don't know. But I take the step back and I'm like, why are my politicians on the Theo Vaughn podcast?
Why is she on Call Her Daddy?
I agreed. Why are any of these people on any of these things? This is not how politicians should operate.
You're right, but they know now that those shows
they have to, yeah.
They get more views. And according to
certain demographics. Yeah.
According to the Don, Barron is now 18, 19 years old, and he's fans of all these comedy podcasts.
Sure he is.
Well, honestly, Theo literally said, your son, he told me I should try to have you on. He got in touch with me and said, you should have my dad on, and that's why he was there. And that's a great look.
It's not surprising.
If this is all a marketing campaign, then that's best way to market yourself is get to the places that have tens of millions of views per show versus one, maybe 750,000 views a show, and that's what your
I agree.
standard newscasts are getting. Which brings us to tomorrow, the only podcast that anyone's going to listen to all of Friday.
Thank you for our regular 11 to 23, 24, every now and then 60 to 70 audio downloads. We appreciate it. We love your support. Keep it up. Tell your friends. Have your friends tell their friends. We understand that tomorrow might be different, Murr, because
Donnie Boy's going on with old Joey Fantastic there, the JRE, and I don't know how long it's going to go. I don't know if is it going to go 3 hours. I don't even think I could stand and listen to Trump for 3 hours because the way he likes to weave, as he says, and ramble a little bit. It just depends on how Joe takes this thing. It depends on the questions that he asks. Is it going to be all politics, or is it going to be more like, hey, what's it like playing golf with a, like a bloodthirsty dictator? You know, I'd like.
You also figure that Shure SM7B, the best, rated as the best podcast mic in the world, is going to get a lot of that nasally, just like 3 hours of that. It's
You're gonna
and that's not anybody's fault. That's just how the man breathes. I'm not saying that makes him
the majestic whistle of the wind through his fucking Adderall cavities. Fucking, it's gonna be fucking great.
The majestic wind through his Adderall cavities. That's great. That's it right there. That's a marketing campaign. I listen. Whether or not it sways the bar, I'm curious to see how this goes. I'm genuinely curious to see if Rogan is gonna. He doesn't bait people. He just has a way of navigating the interview to get the answers that he thinks people want to listen to. And again, he's one of the best interviewers, at least in modern times. However one rates those types of things. But I'm genuinely curious to see how that plays out.
Well, he's definitely not a gotcha guy, which allows people to open up, I think. I think that's why people are so glib with Rogan, because he's not trying to get to something. He will call you out, though, and I do feel like if they get really nitty-gritty with, like, the political talk and Trump starts spouting nonsense, I think he's going to be... Jamie, look that up. Get those numbers. Like, if he starts saying... I don't know what the actual numbers are, but, like, I don't think it's 20 to 21 million, which is what he keeps saying about, like, illegals. I think it's around 15 max... And, 5 to 6 million is that's a big number, either which way you slice it. So he can't say that stuff where he's going to get fact checked by Jamie. But if he just kind of stays middle of the road, if I were him, I would just tell family stories. He told that story about Don Jr. on the Flagrant with Andrew Schultz. It's one of the funniest fucking stories I've heard from just like a politician in a long time. That Don Jr. had a bunch of friends over. He went upstairs, like, who the fuck are all these people? Get out of my house. And for 30-some years, has never mentioned it again. And Don Jr.'s like, it's been so long, I don't even know if it actually happened. And then Don was like, it happened. Just never let him forget. And he never...
So his son was how old, roughly?
Probably like 20 to 25. Had a bunch of people...
Had a bunch of his hooligan friends over for a house party, and Donald J. came upstairs and broke it up. That is every young man who has partied and every parent who has had a kid party can Christ, I got into the only fight with my dad over something like that.
But the thing is,
physical.
He said that Don Jr. said that he went upstairs in Trump Tower, by the way, and cleaned for 36 hours, and his dad never said a word about it again. The only interaction they had about that party was like, these people the fuck out of my house. And then has never mentioned it again. But you know how much it would weigh on your soul? Like, are you mad at me about that thing? Yeah. You never brought it up again.
That's right.
I need closure. And then this is what Donald Trump said. He's like, you never give him closure.
You never. That's there you go, man. Always keep them on their toes. Actually, at my father's after the celebration of life, his wake or whatever afterwards, his nephew, my first cousin, who I want to say I had never met. I met when I was really, really young. So then fast forward 30 some odd years, and this is really the first time I had a chance to interact with him. My first cousin. Now he's in his early 60s. different paths of life or whatever. He told this great story about how my dad and my mom were a young couple, and they went to a wedding somewhere in New York. My dad's brother, my uncle, was out of town, and they agreed that they were going to sleep over at the house. He's like, we're not there. Kevin, my cousin, who was then 17, he's watching over the house. He knows all about it. Just go over when you're done partying, and he'll let you in. Well, Kevin didn't get the memo and has a house party. And they knock on the door, and my dad says, he opens the door, it's just this giant waft of marijuana. Woof! Comes in, it's like, oh, Uncle Alan and Diane, what are you guys doing here? My mom's like, Lloyd didn't tell you, did he? He's like, you're not going to say anything, are you? And they're like, we might. We're going to bed. And then he said, of course, he's like, your dad never said anything. I always respected him for that. I always respected him. I think, of course, my mom then said, like, I think your dad was blacked out. I don't think he fucking remembered anything, but...
Or he probably just wanted to leave the door open, maybe if he wasn't tired as he thought. Like, man, I'm going to mosey on downstairs for a little while.
That's right. Yeah, I'm going to go check up, make sure they quiet down. Hey, you guys got any of that poo-poo?
The poo-poo. Yeah, but I will say that doing interview shows like this does humanize the candidates, at least. Because, I mean, all the fucking just pre-cookie cutter comments, that's what's killing her, is she's got too many of those. I'd say what's killing him is he doesn't have enough of those. And I guess we'll kind of see how this goes. But apparently she after she kind of said that she wanted to do Rogan, she's going to be in Texas this weekend. And she's not going to do the show. That would be murder for her, though. That's a good idea. I would say good idea. Don't do it, Kamala. Don't do it.
Too late. I mean, time wasn't necessarily on her side. They threw her name into the hat. A little over 2-3 months ago, I think it was. Then she has to get out on the campaign trail. But my question is stuff like this going to become the norm? You're going to have your network debates. You're going to have your candid, quote unquote, interviews with the CNNs and the networks of the world. But are these candidates and then their vice presidents going to be doing the Rogans and the Theo Vaughns and how do we call these? I don't know, they call them cult, but more of a, I don't know, middle class interview setting.
Alan, don't you think the pandemic caused these guys to become more powerful than the news media?
Yeah, probably. And also probably a little bit of just fucking, I don't know. I think we've also, as a population, become too trusting of some random people. Like, you know what I mean? So, yes, I mean, to answer your question, yeah, they probably have. They control more views and more eyeballs. But also, I think the eyeballs are demographic set. You know what I mean? You're not getting a super diverse demographic of people listening to Joe Rogan and fucking Theo Vaughn. Like,
I'd say now
it's largely towards a male demographic.
Sure, you're probably right, but I'd say that males in America are probably the biggest consumer of all entertainment which way.
Yeah, but I think the bigger thing is like, I mean, Trump's probably got most of that demo. You know what I mean? Like, what is he gaining anything really from going on Rogan? It's just nice to see, I guess. But yeah.
No, like, I do agree with that. I don't think he wins anything from it. I don't think he loses anything from it. But I do think when you cut the clips up, if he does have more of these Don Jr. had a party upstairs stories, I think there are some folks that are like really apolitical who are like, he maybe isn't a fascist dictator Hitler that wants to tear up the Constitution. Like when they hear him being like, quote unquote, as normal as a Donald Trump figure can be. That might sway somebody to be like, you know what, I'll just do it for him because she's word salad sandwich and I'm kind of tired of eating that right now. And I mean, yeah. And
I think they're both stuck on repeat, quite frankly. They're just
I agree.
Two different
and that's
variations of it. Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of interested to hear how he handles this. But Wes, the one thing I do want to, so Alan, you talk about the eyeballs and ear holes, like where they've gravitated to, and it's podcasts and things. But don't you think that if the news outlets were compelling, that people would go there again? I just feel like it doesn't matter the medium. Yeah, I feel like if you have quality programming, that's where people show up. People left network television because HBO with like The Sopranos showed you that, Oh, when you allow your characters to talk like people really talk, people want to
Yeah.
see that more.
Yeah, I don't think that's the issue. I think it's the problem is like journalistic integrity has gone out the window. It's entertainment, not informational. And
Sure.
like, so that's the problem. And like, unfortunately, a bulk of fucking the general population doesn't have great discernment skills. So now you've got a lot of people fucking watching a lot of different things through a lot of different mediums who can't tell what's true and what's not. And that's just a dangerous situation, generally speaking, for a population. So, yeah, they are clearly the fucking front runners and the people who are going to influence a lot of eyeballs and fucking minds. But is that good in the long term?
I think
know
it
what I mean?
is because I think, who would have thought with the quote unquote attention span that Americans have now, according to the news, like, what, you get a 7-minute segment if you do a news show? Can you really convey your message and articulate it? Unless you've got it, if you've got all the fat cut out of your answer, you're not going to get the whole thing out before they cut the commercial break. So we've been told that we don't have an attention span anymore, yet the biggest platform and show on planet Earth is a guy who sits with some dude who's a monkey wrangler and talks to him for 3 hours.
Yeah, but largely people don't consume all 3 hours. They consume clips. I mean, a lot of people do. A lot of people do, but yeah, I would say that you would find a majority of his audience doesn't consume the entire 3 hours.
Wes?
Yeah, I mean, whether or not the listening public consumes 3 hours of these interviews?
No, I'm just saying, like, what's your break? Because you usually let me and Alan go back and forth on this. Like, what's your breakdown of like just all of it? Like the news media, podcasts, their influence, the ability to get messages out, attention spans. Like, is Alan right? Is it clips?
Yeah.
I listen to all 3 hours every time. When I start a podcast, I'm not done until it's done. That's how I roll with them.
Like, adapt or die, especially if you're trying to win. Now, I'm not advocating for going, at a White House briefing and screaming Hitler and the next dictator and things like that. But, it's like, Christ, it blew people's minds when Clinton got on MTV and played a saxophone. Like, oh my God, look at him. It's earth shattering. It's so groundbreaking. He's willing to do that. And it's like, these people ought to shred the suits and the business casual and get down to some jeans and sit down for an hour and a half, or 3 hours with different individuals with different, viewpoints and different questions, and do it. If you really want to tap in, if you really want to grab some people's ears, try it. And if it doesn't work, try something else. But fuck yeah, no, we're in a different age. It's thumb up and doop until I see something that I like. And whether that be on Theo Vaughn, Rogan, or I don't even know. I was going to ask you guys. I mean, you said, like, if Rogan maintains a certain demographic, what's the alternative? Is there a female audience podcast that they could go on, LGBTQ slanted demographic that has a podcast or something like this? Do them all. Do every single one of them.
Yeah.
No,
What's it? You're going to get on there and say something blasphemous and ruin votes? Well, then perhaps you shouldn't be president.
Well, like we talk about the debates and how you have 90 seconds for a rebuttal. Like you have 90 seconds to talk about global politics, like for the most important job to mankind, the munitions that will destroy the world in my hands, and I got 90 seconds to convince you that I get to control them. No, give me 3 hours. I want to hear everything you got to say about it, man.
I feel like if you had done that to Abe Lincoln, he'd have given you the most grotesque look ever known to man. Like 90 seconds. No, I can't do an Abe Lincoln impersonation, but just think of, can anybody? Daniel Day-Lewis, perhaps, but, like, what? Are you kidding me? Shut the hell up.
Apparently, the stories were of Abe that, like, you're glad that there weren't recordings of him because apparently it was really high pitched and it wasn't like. and you see that, like.
You would have heard a hey all from old Abe.
Yeah, this tall, gangly dude with this girly little voice, like. And those guys would go and do, like, they would do Trump-esque speeches, like 3.5 hours, because people were traveling from vast distances on very slow-moving horses and such. And it's like, you better give them their money's worth. They came all this way.
I wish I want there to be now like a, not necessarily recordings, but historians, almost archaeologists, to be like, this is what they probably sounded like. And then, come across the ones that are just like, Thomas Jefferson, one of the greatest politicians of all time. This is what he sounded like. Oh, hey, everybody. Hi. Hello, America. All right. First order of business. Shut up. Shut up over there. I'm talking now. I'm the president.
We hold these truths to be self-evident.
This won't fly. God damn it.
Hilarious.
Get in James Earl Jones.
Okay, so Alan,
Yes.
let's pretend, because I know that it's hard for you in this context, but like let's pretend that Trump's like a normal president. What questions do you want to have answered? Like, because Rogan's gonna ask him if he's ever taken mushrooms at some point. I'm sure he's gonna hit him with like, should DP be legal and maybe mandatory for politicians? Like, what do you want him to ask that from the behind the scenes stuff that somebody of Trump's ilk might actually fucking answer against Secret Service's wishes?
Like, I mean, are you talking like, is Rogan asking him like if aliens are fucking legit? Or
He's definitely
are we
asking
talking
him
like,
that. He's definitely asking him that.
Are you talking like, is he gonna ask him some fucking like in-depth policy question that the motherfucker can't answer?
Well, you know what? I want to get away from the policy questions. Actually, I want to know
Conspiracies.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Like, is the Earth flat? Like, what's Trump's take on the flat Earth? That's what I want to know. Fucking like, what's Trump's take on fucking, I don't know, like giants, ancient and angelic giants that used to roam the Earth? Like, you know what I mean? Bigfoot. That's a fucking barometer right there.
Okay.
All right, man, let's talk Bigfoot. Like,
Cryptozoology. Okay.
I want to hear Trump's take on Bigfoot. Like, I'm down for that.
I'm actually okay with that too, as like almost like a Wonderlic type of question. How does he answer this? Like, what are his beliefs?
Ooh.
I don't even. I couldn't even tell you what he asked there.
No clue.
It's just. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but Murph, if that were a conspiracy, what you just asked didn't come through. It's like, I want to know.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying how like it's almost like a Wonderlic test where like it's not necessarily what he believes, it's why he believes what he believes. Do you believe in Bigfoot? Tell me why or why not. Do you believe in the Loch Ness Monster? Why or why not? And really get to the nitty gritty. I want to know, and obviously he wouldn't be able to answer everything, but like, have you seen like the JFK files? You don't have to tell me what's in them, but do you know what's in them? And like, just to see if he says yes. Extraterrestrial, like what's going on in Area 51. You don't have to tell me what's there, but is there something there? I'd like to see how he answers these things. And
That's fair.
Yeah,
I like that.
Is there something at Area 51 that is positively 100% verifiably true that would blow not just Americans but human beings' minds if they were to understand this or be told this?
Yeah, and
Yes.
I want to know why does the government believe that it would blow our minds so much so that that has to be kept secret? That's the kind of stuff I want to know. The justification for those types of secrets. Like, if there are aliens, why won't you guys just admit to it? Is there a calculated reasoning behind that? I want to know that kind of shit. What do they tell you?
Were you rooting for Raid Area 51? Were you pulling for the thousands of people that were going to do the Naruto run towards the gates.
Well,
huh?
there you go.
What about that?
What won't they tell you? Like, like, when you went in, because you know that motherfucker went in, is like, yeah, I'd like to know a little more about Lee Harvey Oswald and like, Mr. President, listen, there's a lot of things that you are privy to, there's a lot of things you're not privy to. That's one of the things you're not privy to. Like, what isn't he allowed to know as president? Like, what secrets do they keep from presidents because it would, like, shatter the decision-making process?
It's that real sneaky bastard in Independence Day when the what's his face finds out that Area 51 has aliens. He's like, culpable deniability. Okay, just so you know, Mr. President. He gets fired later.
Yeah, yes, he does.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That guy was a great character actor, too. Died too young.
Did he pass away?
Yeah. Like, probably 10 years ago now, too.
I'm trying to think of, like, I loved him in Meet the Parents. Because he just keeps calling him fucker. Damn it, fucker!
He's also in The Game with Sean Penn, a very underrated movie. Michael Douglas, Sean Penn. Good shit. But yeah, I look, bottom line is, it's if Rogan gets like 15 to 20 million views on his podcast, I'm what are the numbers on this one? Any let's give an estimate.
Views?
Yeah. Views, downloads, whatever, between Spotify and Apple and all that. I'm gonna say 35
mil.
Yeah.
And he gets regularly how many per podcast?
15 to 20.
15. I was going to say, yeah, double it. I was just going to say whatever it is, double it.
Alan.
Yeah, I mean that's probably accurate. I was just looking up to see what like the most views.
Most views for him was probably like, I'm gonna go with like Bernie Sanders.
It was Elon Musk
It
actually.
was Elon. Okay.
Wow. He's had him on like 3 or 4
68
times.
million views over 5 years.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, gift that keeps on fucking giving. Oh, and Alan, did you see the TikTok I sent with where Elon's like, people don't realize that I am the chief engineer at SpaceX?
No, what? I wasn't listening. What'd you say?
Yeah.
That Elon is in fact the chief engineer at SpaceX.
Yeah, I'm sure he gave himself the title.
Okay, there we are. All right.
I mean, what the fuck did you expect my answer to be? Yeah, I'm sure he is the chief engineer, and he engineered all of that stuff, except he didn't.
He
at
pulled
all.
a
bunch
spacey
of guys,
bubble boss.
a bunch of fucking guys smarter than him were like, "This is how we're gonna do it," and he was like, "Sweet, let's do it." Like,
All right.
look, hey man, I give him credit for greenlighting these ideas and letting people
Okay.
smarter than him figure it out.
I'll take that.
But
I'll take that. I'll take that.
He's not doing anything but saying, "Here's some money, you do that,"
Gosh. Such
and I'm cool with that. Like that's fine. I want his credit to be fucking specific. My man didn't engineer shit.
Gosh.
But he is the chief. I mean,
He is the chief. Yeah. Think about the chiefs at your fucking office space. They do a lot of fucking stuff. You cannot answer that. It's fine.
Well, they definitely ain't revolutionizing fucking intergalactic space travel. That's for
They
sure.
sure as shit ain't engineering anything. I can tell you that much. Like fucking, you can lean on that one.
They're engineering a fucking early death in me. I can tell you that.
I did have
Oh,
one
there you go.
on a kickoff call. I had I put a GIF of of one of our engineers racking a switch, and he apparently somehow some way he saw it and said, "Hey, someone tell Wes to take that out. That's ridiculous. Just put the JPEG up." And I cackled at it. I was like, I've asked that fucking guy 1,000 goddamn questions over the year, and I think he's responded to 1 or 2. And he saw a GIF on a kickoff slide deck, a really piss poor kickoff slide deck that we present to government agencies like that they pay for, and he's like, "Oh, take that out. That's ridiculous. Ugh, I don't want that." It's all right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Engineers.
All right. Engineers.
Even the engineers that engineer shit don't do shit. So the chief definitely ain't doing fucking nothing.
All right. Should we do about what we talk about splitting checks?
Well, why don't you announce us, because we haven't done that yet.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Middle Class Souls, everyone. Murr, Allen, and Foxman. If you're listening to us on Friday, October 25th, God bless you, because we just talked about another person's podcast that doesn't need any more recognition, hoopla, or plugs from us. But Murr, Allen, and Foxman, glad you're here with us on this autumn. That the leaves are falling. Have you guys made the grand change in your wardrobes? I did that last week.
I don't have enough wardrobe to grandly change.
No, really, you don't go from the short sleeves to the long sleeves, from the shorts to the sweatpants, from the polos to the dress shirts and the sweaters, from the shorts to the jeans, from the sandals to the sneaks.
This is gonna sound pretentious, but I have a large closet, so basically all of my shit is out at all times for any season.
I was gonna say, I've seen Alan's closet, and it is capable of holding a year-round wardrobe. So
I don't have that. I don't have quite that issue, but no. I mean, I went to kind of look for some stuff the other day. I was like, oh, I get this long sleeve undershirt out here, and get this nice little coat. Start wearing hoodies a little bit more, but other than that, not really.
I have pulled out jackets because the thing is, it's like 40 degrees in the morning, but then it's like 75 by the afternoon. I don't really, no need to change just yet. I'm not outside in the dark, so
you need enough to survive like 7 a.m. to 10:30. Once that sun starts cranking, it does. It does change pretty quickly. No, you're right. Now I made the big change, but I do have like a carryover. I have I kept some shorts. I kept some shirts. No sandals though. They're all tucked away.
And I don't wear open-toed shoes anyway, so
for the most part.
Really? Even to the beach?
I mean, okay, you're going to the beach. Yeah, that's a whole different ballgame. That's like, but there's not sand in real world activities, so there's no need to have open-toed shoes. Don't put me to fucking eye roll.
Okay, fine. I'm just saying I wear sandals a good bit during the summertime.
So see, like I don't wear sandals, but I have slides for like random shit. Like if I'm running out to my car, I'm not putting shoes on. I'm putting these slides on, like. If I am rocking up to a round of golf and or finishing one and leaving, I'm taking my shoes off and putting slides on. You know what I mean? Like, do you not have like a slipper or
I gotta say,
a go outside shoe? You know what I mean?
I denied the Crocs for a decade, and I finally got a pair like a year ago, and I'm like, oh, what was I thinking? Like they really are like, I mean. The most innovative footwear of all time.
I don't think it is.
I think so. Just a polyurethane fucking like booty that like you can. I will say you can go to the store in them if you had to, and people aren't really going to look at you twice.
This is like on Shark Tank. They were like, oh, so this is the prototype? Like, no, that's the one. Oh, you're gonna wear this? This is stylish? Oh no, we don't take style into account, sir. This is strictly for comfort.
Yeah. Well, and then Mr. Wonderful comes in and it's like, and how much does it cost you to make a pair? About $250. And what do you sell them for? $50. I'm in.
I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'll tell you what I'm gonna offer you.
I'll give you everything you want.
Yeah, that's it for a while. Murr and I didn't watch the show. Like, we weren't watching the show in unison, texting one another. But I do know there were a couple of times where we're like, I'm watching Shark Tank right now. And the same thing, it was the moral of the story is these people are holding out on selling out. What's the problem with them? Jesus, I can't wait to sell out. Like, Sharks, I'm asking for $1 million and 10% of my company. I'd be like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you $250 for 30%. Yeah, sure, man. Fucking A. Let's do it. Yeah. Sign me up.
All I need at this point in my life is like, $4 million. The company can go bankrupt, and I will just retire. That's all I'm looking for.
Why don't you guys create flow cakes and then go on?
Because here is the problem with flow cakes.
By the way, I got a flow cake update. Go on, Murr.
Well, the problem with flow cakes is the only way to actually have Flow Cakes produced is you have to go to one of the big cereal manufacturers and just convince them that it's a good idea to put some new comic book characters on the front of a fucking cereal box and barely change like the manufacturing line of like honeycombs or something.
Bingo.
And that's it. Like, we just want to put some frosting on some honeycombs. And we're gonna put these 3 fucking bears on the front of a box. I've already got the ad campaign ready to roll.
Yeah.
So can you guys just purchase our fucking creative idea?
Yeah.
Like,
we would get exactly 30 seconds into a 5-minute storyboard campaign about these bears in the ad campaign that we have concocted, and they would tell us to stop. Mark Cuban would be like, just put the fucking storyboards down. All right, look, how much have you sold? None. All right. That's not the point, Mr. Cuban.
Haven't even made it yet. Just a concept.
No. But imagine a little honeycomb with powdered sugar on top. Anyway, what I was saying was this got brought up in conversation actually today. And I had mentioned this was a tip or a suggestion years ago. Someone said you ought to give up on the cereal idea and move more towards like a coffee. You know what I mean? You have a funnel cake coffee drink or a latte or whatever Starbucks can get. And then Kilby said if you had a packet of funnel cake mix, I would dump that in my coffee every day. I would rip it up with a cup of black coffee and dunk it in and take a stir and go glug 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 every single day. Now that's my best friend, and that's a little more than conjecture. That's it's a small sample size, but hey, that goes a long way.
Well, yeah, and I agree, but that you pitch it as like an extra to your funnel cake cereal. You have your funnel cake cereal, and you have your funnel cake or flow cake coffee mix with your cereal. The hot, the cold, the milk, the coffee. It's just best of both worlds. But again, we're just talking about flavorings. I'm sure these are just flavoring ideas that we have that aren't like groundbreaking or they're universal. They're not
basically
even,
took like honeycombs and then took like the shredded mini wheat, the frosted mini wheat frosting, and put it on there.
It's about marketing
it differently.
A funnel cake cereal, because everybody, you go to the fair, because like fair food is that kind of food that you only get 3 months out of the year. So it's like, but man, what if you could have funnel cakes every day? Like, that's the pitch. And then again, the whole marketability thing is like the 3 bears represent the different demographics. You got a polar bear for the white
bears.
people. Yeah, you're right. But the 3 bears are the main characters. They're the rappers on stage. You got the panda bear, who's the technician. Wicka, wicka, wicka. The mulatto guy, kind of on the side. He's kind of Asian. He might be black. He might be white. But see, you don't tell that to the customer. That's just subliminal messaging.
It's the Asian DJ. Come on, man.
Yeah. But a kid who's got a white parent and a black parent could be representative of them too. Got the brown bear for your Hispanic community, the black bear is obvious, and the polar bear for your white folk, and everybody gets along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, we don't own the patent for the flow cake mix. We only own the patent to the idea of the marketing campaign.
We're idea men. Okay, that's what you're hiring us for.
Yes.
Yeah, which would get ripped to absolute shreds. I mean, hey, they had people go on American Idol who were like, "Yes, I'm going to sing for you. I wish upon a star." Look, and Simon Cowell's hands in his face palming. Jesus Christ, there's no way in the world I could get you on there. Maybe there is series of that for Shark Tank. And me and Merc could do it. Like, yeah, okay. We know this is going to be a disaster, but goddamn, this is going to be entertaining.
Beautiful disaster. And look, bottom line is, you buy us out. We don't need all I would ask for is like a 0.05, percentage of all profits made off of this product in perpetuity. And then $2 million a piece buyout. So $4 million up front. 0.05 on the back end, and we're done. And we move on. We've sold out. Our idea's alive. It's like a guy who works in construction. He's like, "You see that building there, son? I built that building." And when you walk through this grocery store, it's like, you see that box of cereal, son? I built that box.
That's right. It'd be Kevin O'Malley says, "All right, I'm going to give you 75 grand for everything, like 100%. Ugh, me and my business partner are going to have to go behind closed doors, that door that you let us in, and talk about this. And as soon as they talk about, like, oh my God, yes, let's do that shit. I can't wait."
It's just me and Wes holding each other by the elbows, jumping up and down.
All right, hold on. Before we go back in, be cool. All right.
We thought about it. Can we get 80? No. Deal.
You're on a hard bargain, Mr. Wonderful. Flow cakes, part of a complete breakfast. Say it with us. Come on.
Jesus.
Alan loves it. All right. So we got a friend or foe, and it's about splitting checks if you're out for a date.
Yeah, all right. So America's obviously changed, so I'm going to read a news story to you. See if you agree or disagree. Friend or foe, and here you go. Women have a new reason why they refuse to split the bill on dates. Quote, "It all adds up." Women on social media are debating over the, quote, hidden fees associated with getting prepared for dates. One New York City-based TikToker explained that she refuses to split the bill on a date because she, quote, actually is splitting the bill before she even gets to the date. Regardless of the cost of the check at the end of the date, I am preparing and spending money to show up, Nancy shared. The user explained that as soon as she has a date scheduled, she books a cycle bar class, basically a spin class. She rides an exercise bike for $38. Gets her eyebrows done, that's $38 plus tip. Gets a manicure, that's $75 plus tip, and totaling it out at $171. She also listed the cost of her beauty and hair products that she used while getting ready, which is a cost of $223.50, including $6 for curl cream, $22 for concealer, $52 for blush, blah, 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 blah. Total, she claims to have spent $394.49 just to prepare for the date. So, friend or foe, if you ask a lady out to a date, a Dutch style, where you're supposed to split the check, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I've already split it," do you care how she looks? Because didn't you invite her out before she spent all that fucking money in the fucking first place? Friend is, yeah, I understand. She's trying to look good for me to be on that date, so I should obviously uphold my end of the bargain by funding the whole bill. Or foe, no, I asked you out when you looked like fucking dick, and all I wanted to do is give you some dick. Wes?
I'll say friend, because this would be the easiest decision I ever make, whether or not it's going to be a second date. If that's the bullshit I get, like, cool. I'll pay for the entire check. We ain't going out again. Have a good night. Take care. See you later. I mean, my rule of thumb was, not anymore because I'm engaged, about to be married, but was always first date, maybe second. I will not insist, but imply that I'm picking up the check. I got it. Now, if you want to get fussy about it and no, okay, cool. I'm not going to fight you on it, but I will offer it as a gentleman, a chivalrous note. A gesture from mankind to womankind. But if I get this goddamn, what you just spattered off to me, even in Cliff Notes version, a 30-second, like, I spent $384 to get ready for you tonight, I'd be like, well, enjoy those looks elsewhere, because your boy is going to go get a drink, not with you. Good night.
Alan?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Wes on this one. Like, it's pretty good. Like, one, that shit's crazy, because like like Wes, I would kind of assume that I'm picking up that first one anyway. So like, I don't know, that's, now you've alerted me to the fact that like we definitely ain't going out again. Also, like, I don't know, it's like I kind of agree with everything Wes said. He kind of took my thunder there. I guess I could play devil's advocate, but I don't even want to play devil's advocate on this one. Unless
of course you were gonna like throw in the, like, all right, cool. In your mind, you don't say we're not going on a second date, but like, hey, you want to go back to my place? Get laid? If it's a no, then like, all right, see ya. Don't worry.
Well, here's my take on the whole thing, because I guess because of maybe I'm I guess we're all kind of from like that last generation that just expected to pay for the whole date when you asked a lady out, because like it's like, would you like to go spend the evening with me? I'm the provider. I'm a man. That's what we do. It's how we do this thing. I didn't expect you to get ready for the date, but you did. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Doesn't matter. I'm still paying for the date. Like, I feel like a lot of this is justification for women to be like, well, I think in the new America that since we're all equal, we should split the bill. But since I did all this to get ready, they're making excuses to make things be traditional like they always were. Like, we never expected you to pay for the date in the first place. Now you're justifying why you don't pay for half the date in the first place, because you're doing the same thing that women throughout the entire history of dating always did before you and didn't fucking complain about it, nor has a man ever whined, bitched, or complained about a pretty lady sitting up at a bar with him, having a few drinks and having a conversation. We never expected you to pay half. Then you said, well, I think we should be expected to pay half. Then you didn't want to pay half, and then you justified why you don't pay half. Why don't you shut your fucking mouth and put some food in it? Do that, and then we'll have a nice evening, and we won't try to compare notes, and we'll just either go on with life or come together.
So man ever like tried to quantify how much money it cost him to put himself together? Like, yeah, you know, the hair gel, the deodorant, my collared shirt, the weightlifting that I did in my backyard, the jerking off that I did before I came here so I wouldn't be so goddamn tense. Time is money.
That was 35 cents a lube. I don't know, probably about, I'm going to say 30 cents a pomade. Let's see here.
Yeah, my $10 a month at the gym membership. Let's see.
We break that down. So we're down to 8 cents for today. I spent $7.82 to get ready for you tonight, bitch.
Yeah, I have 2 for 1 shampoo and conditioner, of course.
Yeah.
It acts as body wash, but I use the bar soap.
I didn't use any deodorant, or I didn't use any cologne because my deodorant smells so fresh and clean. It's crisp. Well, huh? Get in there. Get your nose in there.
Yeah, pull a pit stop on you. No, it's ridiculous. Quantify $384 to get ready for a date.
It's a lot.
What? Okay, so what happens if she's wowed by the man that night? I'm not saying like, hey, I want to pay for half of it, but it's like, you know, it's kind of like that Chris Rock thing. She knows from the minute she shakes your hand, oh, I want to fuck this guy. What if it's one of those like whole, oh my God, this is a wild moment. This $384 almost seems like it's justification for not only for you to pay for this date, but you should be appreciative of my company as well.
Yeah. And they get offended if you call them high class hookers. But essentially, that's what you're basically justifying your entire evening to be. You're essentially calling yourself a call girl. Now, call girls don't always put out, but, you know, I do think, though, with all the dating apps and things, I guess it depends on how you've set this, I don't know, coupling up. Like, if you randomly went up to somebody in the street, or maybe you work with them, you're like, hey, you want to go out with me tonight? Like, that's a different story. But if it's a Tinder swipe left or right or whatever the fuck way you swipe, then maybe that should always just be a split. Does it depend on where you go? I don't know, man. I just think that I think women have overcomplicated the date. There hasn't been a straight man alive that has been like, well, how we handling the check? We've not thought about this. We expect to pay it. Am I wrong?
At least in our generation, I can't speak for the folks before us. We had a conversation on the show about doing what we're doing now for a first date. And I know money isn't a part of that, whether or not you're like, hey, a free Zoom app, let's chat for a half hour. Then we'll see if we want to go out and meet in person. At least as far as I know, and the people I hang out with and the closed circle of men that I call friends, that's the expectation. Yeah, I'll get the first one. And again, I said earlier, if you're going to be like, no, I insist that we split this. Like, okay, I'm not going to make this a battle. Put your credit card down. That's fine. I might give you the one time, like, are you sure? And if after that, okay, cool, we'll split it. No big deal.
But Alan, if they wanted to split the bill, wouldn't you also assume that they don't want a second date?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's usually so. Like traditionally, right? That was always a red flag for me. It was like, all right, homegirl's not interested. She wants to pay. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we're just friends.
I got a hoe to call. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? So yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, that's also a kind of a marker there. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're right. I think not just women, just it's just a generational thing. You know what I mean? I don't even know if it's like necessarily from the equality standpoint. I think it's like they all fucking broke and fucking, you know what I mean? And like values are a little bit different. And yeah, now you've just got a generation of broke fucking motherfuckers just trying to have a meal and get some pussy. And fucking, it's tough out there in these streets, you know?
Necks and boots. Yeah, I didn't ask you to spend 300 like eyelashes and all this, and then what, a glorified body blade class or something? Is that what you said?
I was gonna say that's another thing too. Like, do you see these hoes these days? They don't dress very fancy. They like some of them still do, but a lot of like, it's a lot of mom jeans and fucking tank tops and shit. Like, it's not like they're getting super gussied up these days. So what are you spending money on?
Well, yeah, but the mom jeans and the 2-inch tank tops are like $40 a piece. So like, there's that.
But like, I don't know. This is, I guess, one of those women things. Like, you buying a whole new outfit for a date? That's for a stranger? I mean, that's big on you. Nobody told you to do that, but.
Well, and for a guy who doesn't make, we make. I have a Tesla, okay? I drive a Tesla, so I make enough money. But but we pinch our pennies pretty good around these parts.
But when you were in the dating field, you were driving a what?
You know what though? Okay, so I can go through some of my cars here. Like 18, I think. I had the Mazda Miata. No, okay, that was.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was a handsome car. Okay, that was that looked fun, right?
Two-seater,
yeah. It looked like money, but it wasn't. And then I went to practical vehicles. Then I had the truck. Now that one I had to be on my A game when I had the Mazda B2200. Like, if you wanted to climb up into that fucking bench seater right there, I had to. I better have been slanging some tongue right there. You know what I'm saying? But then I got practical, and it was Hondas for a while, and then then I got married, and here we are. But I would say that as somebody who had to save their money to buy all the nice things that they ever had in life, I would not necessarily find it attractive that you spent that much money to look like someone that you don't normally look like. That doesn't impress me. I was already impressed when you didn't spend $400 to look the way you look tonight. So I'd rather you just show up like that, not ask to split the bill. We just go out and have some fun. Because I don't know how much fun you're going to have if you've got, if you just got your abs tweaked in the morning. You painted your face up with $1,000 worth of fucking creams and gels and such. Like, that's not attractive to me. And if you think that takes your responsibility for payment off the table, sure, fine. If that makes you feel better about yourself. Wasn't expecting it anyway. So don't ask me to think that you actually put money down on this date, because it's just you. That's all you. That's your insecurities. That's on you.
That's
and also I think Wes kind of alluded to it, like with his like breakdown of how much like pomade he used and shit. Like, you can go get yourself a new bustier or whatever, but fucking, you're wearing that more than once. I'm not footing the bill for that whole fucking thing. You know what I mean? What's that? Let's call it. You're gonna get 100 wears out of that bad boy. What was it? Fucking $100, $1 wear. All right, I'm paying you $1 tonight. Tonight's $1. That's a wear. I'm not paying $100. What's those that mani petty? What you get them gels? Them lasting like a month, bitch. That's 30 days. what are we? We're together for 4 hours. Let's break the hours down. I mean, I'll give you 75 cents.
Good point. Good
for
point.
these 4 hours for your nails. Like, we can do the math if we want to do the math. I think someone's going to be very upset at the end of this dinner. Is all I'm saying. It's not going to be me.
I can talk my way out of not having a second date real quick.
Yeah. We can
How much
fix
time
this.
you got? Yeah, I just had a guy quit on Red River Rivals.
If I'm paying for it, I'd say let's check the merchandise. Give us a twirl. All right, we're
Yeah.
gonna pick it up. We're gonna pick it apart. I don't really like these jeans. Honestly, I wouldn't have picked them for you if I was paying for them. So look, tell you what, how much you pay for them? $200 for these jeans. I'll give you fucking $5 for tonight. How's that sound? Good.
And if those are Spanx, that's false
Yeah,
advertising.
if I see any of assistive equipment, honestly, your makeup deductive points. I'm not paying for that. That's not at all what I signed up for. You know what I mean? That's a caricature of
I
who
wanna
the person
know-
I asked out. Like,
I want to know who I'm buying the Uber for tomorrow morning. That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got those. She said she got eyelashes too, right? She's
Yeah,
got
the
press
whole
ons.
shebang, man.
I didn't pay for those fucking Liv Tyler jammers. I didn't pay for that fake extra chromosome with the double eyelashes. Nah.
Yeah, then you can start getting opinionated. Be like, I didn't really even like those shoes, so I think I'm going to abstain from those. Nobody, those were a you decision, not a me decision, and I don't like them. So
You want me to
pay
call-
for them?
You want me to call in an arbitrator? I got a buddy of mine who's half drunk right now who will come down and settle this right now.
He will
Totally
handle-
unbiased, of course. Yeah,
He will
totally
handle
unbiased.
You did your hair. How much did you pay for your hair? Well, I wouldn't have done that. I think it looks like shit. Honestly, you need a new hairstylist. I'll give you $5.
Vidal
$10 maybe.
Sassoon, I think you could have handled that with some Aquanet. Just saying.
You know, I know a girl at the beauty school. She would have done that shit for free, basically. You know, and like then you get to kind of insult her, but also give her some money. So like you're paying to be insulted.
Well,
like
look
that.
at like a
They're two-
reverse Don
they're-
Rickles.
Yeah. You could really play this up. Is all I'm saying.
So I would say that whatever, man, this is one time I've gotten myself confused. I'm assuming the foes have it. Fuck you. Don't get dressed up. Whatever. You're getting the date paid for any which way. If you want to justify it so you can leave your face on the pillow when you wake up in the morning. Do what you got to do. But we ain't worried about those things. But we're really simple creatures. We're not even worried about your face. We're worried about the part of your body we can't see in the first place.
Yeah. I know you didn't wax that. I want that full bush. How much money you spent on that? Let me see. I want
see
verification. I want verification. All right. Murr, you have some facts and you ripped them off of a calendar, and I'm sure they're 100% verifiable, backed by science. Let's hear them.
Let's get to it. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday where everyone's listening to another podcast and not this one. But let's get to it. OMG Facts, brought to you, of course, by our great friend, The Cuckster. Find The Cuckster over on Instagram. But the Cuckster splits his dates. I'm sure that's a thing. Even with his wife. She's got her own money that she pockets. Find The Cuckster on Instagram. That's Cuckster, the number 4, live on Instagram. Cuckster, up to anything fun, interesting, new, wild, and wonderful there, Wesley?
Yeah, Cuckster was, of course, someone came up to him in the street and asked, is it always cuck 30, or do you just have to make some time to cuck when it might not be so convenient for you and the wife? And, of course, his philosophical ways is only he can present it. Broke it down.
Nice. So go check out the Cuckster's answer to when it's Cuck 30 at Cuckster for life on Instagram. Here we go. 5 facts for you on a Friday. Did you know King Richard II once had to pawn his crown because he was such a spendthrift? I'm confused by the word spendthrift. I feel like spendthrift means you would be thrifty in your spending, but if you have to pawn your crown, doesn't sound like you were managing the old money, the old shekels all that well.
Damn, was he reigning at a point where he couldn't just take money? He had to pawn some of his shit?
That's a good question, because wouldn't you be going down to one of your peasant countrymen and be like, excuse me, Rick?
Hey, we're both named Rick.
How much can I get for this? Like, oh, I got a guy. Let me get him down here.
I'm gonna have to call in an expert. It's a drunk buddy of mine on the couch. Comes over with a big fucking microscope. Well, yeah, this seems authentic. Yeah, I did. No, it just seems odd to me that again the king again. When was he reigning? What was his time of reign?
Who was it? I wasn't.
King Richard II. Yeah, I'd like to know that too.
Like, could you just there's petty cash amongst there? I guess that wasn't enough.
Yeah, couldn't you just go raid a villager's house and be like, "This is mine now. Sorry,
Right.
I gotta pay for some shit. You know how it is."
I'm stealing the M&Ms while I'm at it.
Yeah, taxes. I made them. I gotta pay them.
He was the King of England from 1377 until 1399.
Yeah, it seems like a era where taking what you wanted was deemed that he's the king. It's the God's will.
That sucks because like nobody remembers that time period. Like that was just like mud and rain and just filth and just rocks and stone. Like to be the king then, that just had to suck. Like the King George era does seem like right around like the American Revolution, like right before the Revolution. Like being king then probably kind of rocked a little bit. Weather wasn't still good or anything over in England, but like you got to wear a wig, you wear fucking like outlandish outfits and shit, had fucking fresh food all the time, just stupid parties that you didn't deserve. That was a good time to be a king.
You weren't pawning crowns and
Yeah.
God knows what else. Yeah. Shit. Well, it was pawned and then presumably sold to someone, and it's in somebody's attic.
Well, it sounds like he
somewhere.
got it back. He might have gotten it back, you know.
Yeah, it wasn't sell, it was an actual pawn. Like, I'll give you the money and I'm going to pay for it back.
This is a statistic I would like to ask. Maybe I have to deliver to a pawn shop tomorrow. Maybe I'll ask. Like, what's the recidiv rate? Like, how many people actually reclaim their pawn? Like, that legitimately use the shop as a loan. Like, they take their favorite Fender Stratocaster American-made guitar down and like, what can I get for this? I'll give you $400. All right, I'll be back in 2 weeks. Like, how many people actually come back in 2 weeks?
God, I mean, if there's any accurate data on that, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Because I've never thought of a pawn shop as a place where you go, like, I did see a guy in there one time getting his stuff back. And I was like, wow, it actually works.
It was like a Cal Ripken rookie card or something.
It was like tools or something.
I think the bigger question is who shops at pawn shops.
I am not opposed to shopping in a pawn shop.
I mean, I wouldn't be either. I'm just saying I've never really thought about it. Or I've never like popped by my local pawn shop and be like, hey, what you got? What's in stock today? Anything good?
I've bought
What's the staple at pawn shops though? Like what's their
power
jewelry.
tools.
Tools and
Power
jewelry?
tools. Yeah.
Okay.
Jewelry, power tools, yeah.
And musical instruments. I've bought
Random
bought-
copper. Random.
I've bought a guitar and several a couple guitars and several like power tools, because you can, that's like the only thing I feel like you can get a decent markdown on. Everything else is almost retail, but yeah, you can get a really good deal on, and plus you can also haggle a little bit too, and I don't like to haggle, but I almost guarantee that any musical instrument in there, you can probably get $50 to $100 off if you just like, nah, maybe next week. Well, we're running a sale today. That's usually the line you get.
I didn't see the sign out in front of the store. Interesting. That makes me wonder because we did a very, very small registry, and Sarah kept asking, "Come on, add something to it, add something to it, add something to it." I'm like, I despise wedding registries. I think they're just middle class people upping themselves to shit they can't afford, which is fine. I get it. You can get away with it, but I put a drill on there, a power drill.
Okay. Electric or plug-in?
Electric, with a rechargeable battery.
Okay. All right. Because
Milwaukee, of course.
Because I was planning on getting you a well-written letter. But I'll check the registry, I guess.
No, the letter's fine, Andrew.
Did you know the color green used to be considered unlucky in Ireland since it was associated with fairies who stole children and brides?
God.
Damn. It's kind of fucking morbid.
Yeah. When the hell did that change? You know, it was a big like town fair in Dublin. Like, all right, folks, green's okay. Well,
Okay.
sure.
Well, obviously, we all know that fairies don't actually exist. What kind of shit was going on in Ireland when children were missing and brides were stolen and they were like, must be those fairies, man, I don't know. Like, was there a Donald Trump type figure like, I don't know, maybe it was a mythical creature that came in and took your wife, not me. Like, because that means there's more than one, you know what I mean, in an era. This
Yeah.
is happening quite often.
And you know there were some bastards who like looked around one day and they were making their coffee and like the wife's gone, and they started celebrating. Like, I gotta tell someone. Then the conspirators came in, and be like, you gotta keep this quiet. No, you can't celebrate your wife being gone. No
I
way.
wonder. Hold on, I'm just trying
I'm
to
kidding. I'm kidding, of course.
No, but I'm trying to dig deep into this because, Alan, what's the number one brand of absinthe in the world? Are you aware?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a good question. What is it?
Green Fairy Absinthe.
Oh, I mean that makes sense. Should have fucking
And
guessed
what
that.
are the Irish quite well known for?
Fucking, I guess drinking some absinthe.
Tossing a few back.
Yeah,
And I'm wondering if they just got drunk and
maybe.
beaten, killed their children and wives, and then were like, oh, it's the Green Fairy. I'm telling you, Green Fairy got him. And so there you go. Unlucky.
Damn.
Unlucky they were.
Oh, by the way, I almost burned Jimbo's house down, his parents' house, one time because we got some. Because it was before absinthe. I think it's legal to sell now in the U.S., but back when we got it, it was not. And I ordered it from Czechoslovakia on eBay, and I learned how that you're supposed to like melt the sugar cube and all that stuff. Well, I don't know if you know this, but since it's like, oh my god, what is it? It's absinthe is. So the proofing, it's like 150 proof or something like that, which means it's almost 50% alcohol. Either way, you're supposed to dip the sugar cube into the absinthe with a slotted spoon, then light the sugar cube on fire. Well, the sugar cube melted into the absinthe, which caught the absinthe on fire, which also splashed, which also went all over the counter. And it was, an alcohol fire right there on like a, late 1800s wooden home.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That thing would have combusted pretty quickly.
Yeah. So, good thing I got it out
Damn.
in time.
Yeah. That's actually Jeff Carr brought some absinthe to a New Year's Day party at my parents' house, and this is back in the era where me and my brother were young enough. Murray, you 100% attended these, where the party started getting turned up again. It was a high in the late 70s and through the 80s when my parents were still rocking and rolling. Then through a chunk of the 90s, it was just kind of like casual drinking beer. And then in like the late 90s, early 2000s, it got cranked up a notch because a bunch of 20-somethings started like didn't stop partying all the way through New Year's and showed up at my parents' house. And he brought some absinthe, and my dad was like, "Oh, Jesus, you brought some legitimate absinthe from Europe." He's like, "Yeah." And he started pouring it out, and in walks my dad's friend, God rest his soul, Andrew Thompson, Red Sea, who at the time was probably like 70, 72, 73. And I knew he partied back in the day. I knew he was a fucking go hard. And Jeff Carr hands him a rocks glass full of it. He's like, "Red Sea, some absinthe." He's like, "Oh, yeah." The first thing he said when he walked into the house, "Oh, yeah," and downed it. Every last drip drop, and then introduced himself to my dad and my mom and everybody else. "Hey, happy New Year." It's like, God damn, life goals.
Dude, it's not bad either. It tastes like black licorice.
Yeah.
If you haven't had it, and
Yeah.
it gives you a weird drunk. Like your brain's not gone, but your body is, and you're definitely thinking thoughts that you don't normally think.
And I mean, I think I appreciated the fact that he didn't vet it at all. There was no questions, no concerns, no where did you get this from? Hey, is this real absinthe? It was open the door, Redzy, yeah, oh yeah, gotta get a beer to wash this down with.
I've actually got quite a few Red Sea stories in the limited time I was around that guy. They're all fun.
I wish I'd crossed paths with him when he was hooting and hollering.
Yeah, elderly man goals. That's all I can say. Did you know, in 1830, the average American was consuming 1.7 bottles of hard liquor a week? I'd like to know the size of the bottle, but like I'm imagining like a liter, right? Like a regular fucking full Jack Daniels. So almost 2 bottles a week.
I mean, is that all that dissimilar from someone who just drinks liquor now?
Yeah, but the average American, I mean, like I think your average American's drinking a few beers at night.
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
versus
you're
like
right.
hard liquor. And if I'm drinking hard liquor, if I open a bottle of hard liquor, I'm gonna have a shot or 2, and that's gonna be one night a week, not every fucking day.
Yeah, 1.7, the average too. I wondered if you just you put in a hard 12, and way different than what we consider a hard 8 these days, and yeah, you blast through a few of those. Oof. Like, all right, I'll read a bedtime story to the kids. Once upon a time in Ireland,
a green fairy came out from your closet and stole you and your mother.
Yeah, this is actually my cousin has twin kids. The boy's name's Wes. Last time I was at their house in Vegas, they were demanding different people come up and tell bedtime stories, and they were like, their neighbor came down, friend of theirs, said, hey, they want cousin Wes. They want cousin Wes to go up. So I went up and started this super convoluted story, but I got so drunk that I couldn't remember the steps. So I was like trying to like backtrack, and before I knew it, after 10 minutes, it was just this story that meant nothing. It was going nowhere. It wasn't a bedtime story. Couldn't even tell you, and I started laughing. Like, I remember the young girl was like, why are you laughing so much? Like, Quinn, I can't remember where I'm at in the story. Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night,
See you later.
Nice.
Thought they fell asleep from confusion. All right.
Yeah. And my cousin's like, are they going to bed? Like, yeah, well, counting sheep.
And they'll never drink a drop in their life. You're welcome. Did you know Jaws was the first movie to earn $100 million?
Damn, I did not know that. And if you had asked me the first movie to earn $100 million, I probably would have. If you gave me 10 cracks, Jaws would have been in like the 6 to 10 range. And it probably would have been movies later on, simply because the 100 mil mark is I mean, Jaws is what, 75?
Yeah.
I get me like Rocky. I probably would have said something like that, but
I would have thought Star Wars.
I would. Star Wars would have been in the top 5. Star Wars, Rocky, any of the Star like Empire, Jedi,
Indiana Jones, because
Gandhi. I know that's not like popular, but it was
Academy. Yeah, it was Academy Award winner, but it was like
people went to the movies to see Gandhi to feel better about themselves. Like, I'm gonna learn something.
But also, did you know Jaws is also rated PG?
No cursing.
That I didn't know.
No cursing, a lot of blood and water.
Yeah.
Like, it fucking terrified people. There's a whole generation of Americans that won't swim in open water because of Jaws. I'm not one of them because of Jaws. I just think the ocean's stupid and you don't belong there.
Facts. I agree. My dad is a Jaws person, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my man does not. He like sharks fascinate him, but he was petrified by that shit.
So your homeland, is it? I mean, it's a warm water area. Are there a lot of sharks there?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're actually,
that makes a little more sense.
Well, I mean, there's the two sides, the fucking Caribbean and the Pacific. And then there are a ton of lakes in fucking Nicaragua, and there was one of them that I think was like one of like 2 or 3 in the world that had freshwater sharks.
Fuckers.
Yeah.
Crocs too. I think there are a few.
Oh, there's definitely crocs down there.
Yeah.
Cayman.
Which is why Lake Placid probably scared the dickens out of just tons of people. Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
Good bad movie. Hey, if you ever rewatch it, do you remember when Quint is getting fucking bit in half?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you ever notice, he still stabs the shark 2 or 3 times
Oh, nice. Okay.
with his knife. It's like a little the bastard's fucking going down without a fight. Not going down without a fight. Sorry.
My dad never really finds. My dad gave me my dad humor, and he never really finds my particular dad humor all that clever. But he was watching. What's the movie with Nicolas Cage where it's about the? It's about that ship going down in World War II. I think it might be called the Mississippi. I don't know, but like
Indianapolis, right?
the Indianapolis. That's it. Well, there's a Nicolas Cage movie, and he was watching it one day, and it's when the ship's going down, and I got real close to the TV, and I'm looking. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm looking for Quint." He's like, "Ah, that's good. I like that." That was the only time you ever found me clever. Yeah. Moving on. Did you know? Breathing the air in Mumbai, India, for just one day is equivalent to smoking 2.5 packs of cigarettes.
I've heard ridiculous statistics like that. They always kind of
wonder-
vary a little bit.
But the average life there is.
Well, one of my other favorite things to watch on any social media site that gives me a 2-minute clip is like the manufacturing process in places like India. Like there's a guy who makes like radiators, and I mean they're just pouring fucking like just bare hands, bare feet, just like molten like flux, like which is like lead and tin, just to like redo radiators and shit. Open air, no ventilation, dirt floors, nothing. Plastics. I'm just like, I watched some guy make like a 2,000 gallon fucking like plastic water receptacle, and they made it in basically, again, a dirt garage where they're just spinning like raw plastic and heating it over an open flame. Like, Jesus Christ, like these people must live to fucking 45 and that's it.
Yeah. I was gonna say die young, healthy young men, but by that point they might be withered as fuck, like, looking like Mr. Burns. Like, how old are you? 43. Gee, what? Jesus Christ. Ugh.
Well, the other thing,
You look like Johnny Unitas.
what is it, the Ganges? Is that the one that runs past like the Taj
Yeah.
Mahal and all that? It's like that's where they go to, like, they like kind of, I guess for lack of a better term, like baptize themselves, like religiously and all that. There's just shit, like literal shit, like turds and like just floating down the river.
Turns, plastic, and styrofoam. Just
And it's also riddled with like ashes of human remains, because like all the crematoriums are like upriver, and you can see the plumes of smoke in the air. It's just like,
and you see young men in bathing suits, like, going to take a dip. Do a dive in there. Ha! I'm so
make sure you splash your face.
I'm so refreshed. And when I do that dive and I come out, I take a nice deep breath of that beautiful air. 2 packs of cigarettes a fucking day. God damn. And I have no desire to travel to India as a tourist. And this right here is a fact that I might bring up next time someone's like, "Hey, what about India?" Like, I'm good.
Where's and that is your Fun Fact Friday, but where is like the most like quote unquote poor like nation you would go?
I go anywhere. I don't care.
Let me ask you this then, Alan. Would you eat Indian street food? 'Cause
Probably.
it looks delicious, but when I see something boiling on the top of a trash can lid, I'm like,
I guess it
be good.
depends. I guess it depends on what it was. Because I've eaten like Nicaraguan street food, and like that was kind of weird at first, but like I was fine. So yeah, I guess it just depends on what it is. Like if I see, I'm not eating no like tarantulas on a stick or no bullshit or like no fucking
Well,
like rat or fucking
I gotta be honest.
spider
I feel
monkey.
I feel like the rat and the tarantula might be like from a health code standard might be better than like the rest of that stuff because they use a lot of yogurts and creams and such in their foods, and they're just stirring it with their hand.
That's fair. That's fair.
So
But it's also keep in mind, like, if it's boiling, you're probably okay.
Okay.
See, I would travel. a
I
little
mean,
more
that's
east.
just
I
science. Like, it's just basic fucking biology. But yeah, no, it would depend on what it is. That's for sure.
So
but I'd take a shot. Go ahead.
I would not go to India, but I'm saying like you said, the most poverty-stricken. I would go a little further east. I would do like the Cambodia deal. Yeah.
Well, because there's a difference between being like poor and then being overpopulated, and yes, like the 2.5 packs of cigarettes a day, just fucking breathing oxygen kind of thing. Like a Cambodia, like they're poor, but you know, I don't know. Like it's also like American Samoa. I remember watching a documentary about American Samoa, and they were actually pissed that they raised like the minimum wage because it meant the canneries were going to move somewhere else, and they're like, we don't need much. We just need straw huts and a place to work. Like that's all we need. And it was just like, oh, you're poor, but you have everything provided, so it's not like you don't long for anything.
Yeah.
So like Samoa would be a great place. It's just a tropical island and it's beautiful. There's not much there, but it sounds relaxing, and it doesn't sound like you'll get diphtheria from eating the local cuisine.
Oh, you probably still will.
Probably.
See, that's the tricky part. Is like, yeah, something's gonna fucking upset you just because you're not used to the fucking food from that ecosystem. Like it just is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, also you can go to India and just not go to fucking Mumbai. Like
It's a good point. Yeah.
you
There-
can go,
there's-
so it is a pretty big country. You can
That's
fucking
right.
go somewhere else. Not go there. I'm sure there's a fucking friendly place to like pet elephants and shit. You know, you'll be fine.
and then eat it afterwards. Just kidding.
Well, yeah, but that's good eating, you know.
If I did go to a place like that, and I know we've talked a lot about like, you know, the whole like monkey butlers and things like that, that's where I would go. I would go straight to the place where they quote unquote abuse animals and things, because it seems like that's the place that they don't want tourists to have a bad experience. So I would go to the touristy places in those countries.
I thought it was monkey jesters. They have butlers too.
Well, you know, I'm sure, you know, they probably... Why not? If you got a monkey bartender, I'm sure they can fold your pillows for you.
Yeah.
It's monkey rodeos and jockeys was the other one. Yeah. And then Alan said, like, if they don't have a monkey doing an odds board, it just takes away from me.
Yeah,
I want him up there,
fucking-
like, just
A little visor,
yeah.
pointing at stuff.
Licking a pencil.
Yeah, exactly.
ask
writing stuff
ask for
down.
you. Ask for you to collect. Does like the hand like.
Yeah. Walks
That's
around
it.
the circle, fucking calling his
Yeah.
money in.
That's when then you look at your significant other. Like, God, if this ain't living, I don't know what is.
I've always wondered this. You know, like when you watch a movie and everybody's like there's a fight, like a bare knuckle fight, and they're like, "Rah!" and they're all holding their money in the air. How do they know who gets to exchange that money and where it goes?
Yeah, it does seem rather archaic with the whole betting system and where who's the bookie, who isn't. You know, can you just, if you lose a bet, can you just kind of do the Homer Simpson?
Just dip it to the crowd.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Because I'm sure that system over there is definitely like, I get paid, you get paid, or someone gets a knife through the rib cage. I mean, that's
Right. Jimmy was in the Dominican and said he went to an arena where cockfighting was taking place. Said that not to that level of Hollywood, but that was going down. People like waving cash around. Oh!
That's not
that's
surprising.
intense. Yeah, that's living.
I think it's just I think he said he drank a beer in the crowd in the bleacher seats, the very sturdy oak bleacher
Yeah.
seats.
Sure, sure. Okay.
That's Fun Fact Friday.
That's your Fun Fact Friday.
All right, not too much on before you go. We do have some listener comments I want to get to. Coming from how SpaceX catches rockets like Godzilla. This comes from our Instagram page. Driveway Beers podcast says, for the less refined folks, quote, he caught the Statue of Liberty in midair with chopsticks, but we all but all we hear are, quote, he sucks like my politics.
Yeah, Alan.
But I mean, he does suck. But that shit was cool. That shit was sweet.
Next, go ahead.
No, I do think
I'm glad he
he's
assembled the team of engineers who accomplished that feat.
There we are. There it is. There it is.
It's good job.
I will say, to Elon's credit, he was on, I don't know whose podcast he was on. It might have been like with Tucker Carlson, but he legitimately said, like, if Trump doesn't win, he is absolutely fucked. He was like, yeah, if he doesn't win, I'm fucked. I'm fucked. I'm already kind of fucked. That's why I'm backing Trump. Because if I don't, I'm really fucked. So I'm fucked either way. So
That's probably bad.
yeah, well, it's bad that like politics has to get in the way of like human achievement and accomplishment. I'll say that. Either, no matter which party you give a shit about. Like, I actually watched a BBC interview with like this, like some guy who's probably involved with the Bilderberg Group in some capacity. And they were like, why didn't you invite Elon Musk? And it's like, well, we invited a lot of people. It's like, yeah, but you didn't invite the wealthiest man on the planet. And like, well, and he's like, you didn't invite the guy who's, and then he went through the laundry list. And yeah, Elon, I think the only reason Elon's backing Trump is because he's already on the outskirts. So he might as well back the outskirtiest man alive.
He should just say Tony Stark never had this problem. It didn't matter. Democrat, Republican, right, left, conservative, doesn't matter. I'm Tony Stark. Look at me. I'm Iron Man.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm a fictional character.
Fig Newt 94 wrote, and this is after he was correcting us through a series of like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. 1, Mechzilla is a tower. 2, it wasn't a Falcon booster. 3, it was midair. 4, purpose was for rapid reusability. 5, 2.5 series tall. LOL. I think he was like, we said series instead of stories. 6, the booster was never tested landing. It was always designed to be caught.
Here's the thing. I got a couple of things wrong in that off the top of my head dissertation that I gave during that whole thing. So fuck this guy, 1. 2, he never tried to land it on land because it was too heavy. It either blew up or they landed it just in the ocean, old school style, like the Challenger days. Well, that one landed.
Jesus.
That one landed both ways.
Landed a lot of places.
That might have been the first booster to hit land. You're right, Alan.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
Either way, this guy's a fucking know-it-all twat, and yeah, yippee skippy.
I believe it was Alan who commented, only one of us sucks Elon's nuts. So, fuck you.
Yeah.
Coming from TikTok, Taco Bell's kitchen secrets, innovations that you didn't know about. Murray, you were talking about the caulk gun and some other things. Sarah Perney writes, Taco Bell uses a sous vide, SOUSVIDE.
Sous vide.
Yes.
Okay, sous vide. Sorry,
It's French.
Yeah, it's just
So,
you put food in a plastic bag, and then that goes into like hot water.
It goes into like hot water, and that's how
yeah,
it cooks.
to warm their meat so it doesn't get overcooked on the line or in a pan, but get the flack for something. But get flack for something high-end restaurant uses. Okay, fair enough.
That's pretty sweet.
Sous vide. I've learned something. Skeletor's lover writes, things like this have existed a long time in the baking world. Oh.
Okay. Well, maybe if bakers weren't such pretentious fucking dickheads,
shared.
it hid their fucking innovations away from the world, then we wouldn't have this issue.
Yeah, maybe if they weren't so French, did everything in French, like sous vide or whatever else that was.
Instead of just cooking your meat on a stove like a fucking American.
I think
I feel like an idiot for not fucking pronouncing that right. But
no, you're fine, dude. If you don't come across
If you've
that word
never
every day,
seen it, yeah, it's like
No,
epitome. Like
the only reason I know it is because Rogan talks about how he cooks his elk meat and he uses a sous vide.
He's such
and I was
a
like,
dick.
It's the only reason I know
it's
what it
so
is.
funny. So I could cook my sea turtle meat sous vide. It's the only way.
I only use loggerheads though. I don't use any other sea
Just
turtle.
Loggerhead, sous vide loggerhead. Just
They're not
Exquisite.
protected anymore. It's all
Yeah.
good.
Really softens the shell.
All right, Alan, tell all the sous videers where you can find the middle class.
You can find us at pamperedchef.com for all your favorite fucking boiled water cooking methods. No, you can find us on all your favorite social media platforms. We're at MDO Class Souls on Instagram and Twitter. We're the Middle Class Souls on Facebook and TikTok and YouTube and fucking, I don't know, other shit, probably. And then, of course, for your listening pleasures, check us out, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify. Yeah.
Yeah, real quick on before you go, there's a couple things I wanted to mention, and I think I didn't really know how I felt about it. LeBron James played the opening night. Lakers, I don't remember. They played the Timberwolves. Bronny James was there. The Griffies showed up, Ken Sr. and Ken Jr. And I thought, man, Ken Griffey, the senior, who went by Ken Griffey in his playing days prior to Ken Griffey being born, was an all-star, and his son ended up being a Hall of Famer. And they went to this goddamn game. It was like a crowning achievement, kind of applauding the fact that it's a publicity stunt, that LeBron talked the Lakers organization into drafting Bronny, even though he fucking didn't deserve it. And it was kind of like, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But we will get into some World Series predictions. Here's one thing that I wanted to point out. The media has hyped this up. It is the Dodgers versus the Yankees. And it's like, oh, it's one of the most storied rivalries in all of sports. I realized last time they played in the World Series, 1981, more than half of Americans haven't seen the Yankees-Dodgers World Series. Murr, you were, I don't know, 1.5. I was.
Three.
It's 81.
81. I was born in 79, so.
Yeah, 1.5.
1.5. 81, I was 2.5.
You were 2.5. You remember it well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like the World Series fucking victory in fucking 1983.
A year
The
later,
Orioles.
a couple of years later, right? Fernando Mania, God rest his soul. By the way, he just passed away. He pitched a complete game no hitter, and that's really like dawned on me as a baseball fan. I was like, yeah. I've never seen a Yankees Dodgers World Series. So here we are. Alan, I know you're hoping for Mount St. Helen to erupt again and just engulf both teams and all populace on the West Coast when the Yankees are playing in LA. But do you have a prediction for the World Series?
I predict that I won't watch a single fucking inning. I'll tell you that much. No,
I'm gonna clockwork orange you in that bitch. I'm gonna pry your eyes open and play demonstrative music in the background.
I think the Dodgers are actually going to win a full season World Series. That's what I think.
Okay.
I think the Yankees are very good, but the Yankees are sus. Like we would have beat the Yankees if we got a piece of the Yankees. Like, you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think we would have beat the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers would have beat the brakes off of us. And they're
I
just
think we would have
getting,
lost the Indians, but
yeah, also true. But I think like they're getting, from what I've seen of the Dodgers through this playoffs, fucking Ohtani is the best baseball player to ever fucking play the sport. And fucking you're getting pitching performances that you don't normally get. Like, this is what the Dodgers have done, right? They've won 120 fucking games, and then they shit the bed somewhere along the way. Like, they're actually doing it. Everyone's contributing. Like, they're clicking on all cylinders. Like, that pitching performance that fucking clinched the NLCS for fucking what's-his-face. That pitcher did. Wasn't he out for a while, and he came back, and he just threw fucking, 8 innings. It was
Bueller?
incredible. Yeah. Like, that's the kind of shit that wins you a World Series. I think that's what you're going to see. I think the Yankees, like I said, are suspect. They've got rough patches. They carry the weight of being the Yankees on themselves, which I love that it's crushing. I love watching them fold under that pressure. All of their beardless faces. Fucking, yeah. I'm here for it. Those are my predictions. Let me stop.
okay.
I think the Yankees win. I mean,
that's what's
like,
gonna happen because we're fucking. It's cruel. But go ahead, sir.
Yes, and because I agree with everything that Alan just said, but like the bottom line is I don't like Juan Soto's approach at the plate necessarily, but there is this aggressive I'm the fucking man approach about it that I do fucking respect. And I think if you with Judge and Soto and Stanton, like I just the Yankees in my lifetime have, when they're in the big games, they somehow Aaron fucking Boone. I mean, that guy's like a Yankees legend. He hit 4 times for them, and hit one of the most romantic fucking home runs of all time, just pinch hitting to win a World Series. I just think they win. I just think the Yankees win. I think LA's going to be back there a couple of times in the next 5 years, and I think Ohtani's going to get one, but it's just not this year. I don't know. There's just something about gritty October baseball, and I do think that there's something about like an East Coast cold weather team just putting it all together at the end of the year, and I just sadly the Yankees got it.
Fair enough. I think the Dodgers lineup will grind Yankees pitching into absolute oblivion and wear that bullpen down in the short series, and not so much like to where these guys are ineffective, but it'll get to a point where where like a Mookie Betts is seeing a middle reliever for the 5th time. And it's like, all right, you have 2 pitches. I know what's coming. I was going to say Dodgers in 5, but right now the Dodgers, they throw a bullpen game every 4 games because they only have 3 starters, one of which is Jack Flaherty. I was going to say Dodgers in 5. I'll say 6 because they'll probably slip up in 1, maybe 2 of those games. In one of those games, you're going to get the Judge Soto, Stanton mix clicking. So I will say on the safe side, Dodgers in 6. If I was betting, I'll say Dodgers in 5.
I'll say Yankees in 6.
All right. Alan just said Dodgers.
Dodgers in probably 6. I like that.
All right.
It'll be a tough series. The Yankees will give them a run.
It kicks off tomorrow. Well, folks, appreciate your time. Do what you do on these fall evenings. Sip all your pumpkin brews. Hopefully there's a funnel cake mix somewhere in the back of your cabinet that you could tell us how it tastes when you mix it with your chicken pot pies, whatever the hell you eat these fucking days. Chip beef cream toast, fucking monkey mix. Have a good one.